This is Paris, 12:04 local time. The swearing-in ceremony for France's new Prime Minister, Sebastien Lecornu, has begun getting underway there. These are the images. He, of course, an ally of President Macron, replacing Francois Bayrou, the 74-year-old who was ousted following that vote of confidence or lack of confidence in him that took place earlier this week. Lecornu is an ally of President Macron. President Macron been in power since 2017 as president, re-elected in 2022. Also watching the developments is our correspondent Alistair Bunkle. Alistair, a pivotal moment in Paris, because whilst these images are being broadcast to us, we also know that riot police and protesters are clashing not too far away.
Yeah, it's a bit of a split-screen moment. Just dealing with the events here to begin with. President Macron moved pretty quickly to appoint a new prime minister after Francois Bayrou lost the confidence vote 2 days ago in the National Assembly. He's appointed Sebastien Lecornu, 39 years old, although youth doesn't seem to matter at all in French politics. Very close to Macron himself, the only minister to have served in Macron's government for all of the 8 years of the time Emmanuel Macron has been the French president. He ran his re-election campaign as well, and so very much a Macron loyalist. The French president decided not to go to the left and appoint one of the socialists as the new prime minister, instead sticking with people close to him. So I don't think that will do anything to allay the anger being felt around France. But interestingly, actually, Lecornu, he's a pretty serious figure on the outside of things. He's said to be pretty lively behind the scenes, sort of keeps quite a low profile. But in 2024, he dined with Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader of National Rally. And so I think there's some of the thinking behind this appointment is that he might be able to bring the far right on side when trying to push through a much-needed budget. Now, the National Rally haven't openly endorsed his appointments. They've basically said it's more of the same, but there is a feeling that if he gets it right and he negotiates properly with them, then he could get them on side. The National Rally are the biggest single party in the National Assembly at the moment, and look to do very well next time there are either National Assembly or presidential elections. So the fifth Prime Minister in 2 years for Emmanuel Macron, and you really sense he's got to get it right this time around. And yeah, protests happening on the streets of Paris and around the country today. We were out very early this morning, sort of around 5:30, 6 a.m. when some of them were due to start. And there were pockets around, 100, 150, 200 people, that kind of thing, kind of slightly playing a cat and mouse game with the police, small little flare-ups that then died down pretty quickly, trying to block a lot of the peripheral roads around Paris to bring the capital to a standstill. I have to say that they haven't succeeded in that yet anyway. There's still a lot of the day to go. They haven't succeeded. They don't seem to have the weight of numbers. It's rather disparate. There don't seem to be any kind of major events going on in cities around France. But it is a movement that has grown out of social media, out of anger at the French government. And if it does sort of follow what happened with the Gilets jaunes protest back in 2018, it is something that could grow. But for the moment, for today, flare-ups for sure, but it hasn't brought Paris to a standstill. It hasn't, I don't think, really had the effect that the organisers were looking for.